Oh, hello everyone. How are you? I'm back with Afi. Afi, we've had a few chats before, and yeah, we're going to go back to Pakistan and check out a bit of the history. And of
Hi
course,
guys.
we're going to Pakistan. So we'll leave the link below, lostworldadventures.co.uk. Go check it out. But yes, welcome, Afi. How are you? Welcome back.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. It's been a few weeks since we last spoke, but yeah, glad to be here. Thanks for inviting me again.
No, no. Well, thanks for being here. And of course, you're coming
No,
along to Pakistan.
I
Um,
am coming along with you. I'm
you're
really super excited about it.
Yes, yes, the brains of the operation. That's your family's country, isn't it? So
Yeah,
you've
it
got a
is.
lot of
It's
connections
I'm a
there. Yeah,
true Indus Valley what was it called?
Indus
Their
Valley
descendant, as it were.
descendant, original.
I
Yeah,
have
the
the
Indus Valley
DNA report to prove it.
from the
But
cradle
no,
of
it's been good.
civilization.
I have been doing quite a bit on the operations side of our trip, as you
Yep.
know. So we have got the an amazing tour company who are very bespoke, so they're more aligned with our values in terms of truthers and also the adventure spirit. But more importantly, they're very good at doing it. They're sort of like security wise and all sorts of different logistical things that you might need in a foreign country. They kind of take care of it all. So yeah,
Mm.
operationally we're all good to go. We've had a few bookings, so we're really excited. So we've got all our peeps coming
Yes.
along.
Yes, get onto it, guys. It's coming up and it's filling up. So if you're interested, jump on the
Yeah, no, it's going to
site.
be epic.
Yeah,
It's
we'll
going to be
leave the link
epic.
below.
We're trying to get Campbell and I are trying to persuade. Well, Campbell is trying to persuade Kelly to come along. So I really do hope
We'll
she's
see how
like
we go
comes.
with
I'm
that,
really excited if she does because
yeah.
I know she's another Indiana. Well, what did you
Indiana
call her?
Jones, right? Kellyanna Jones.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly. So it would be great if you guys came along because it's going to be epic. But
Yeah.
yeah, we thought that we would take a look at one of the other places on the itinerary, that one of the places that we're at, Campbell and I will be visiting and the group will be visiting.
Mm.
And because all along the Indus Valley, as we know, we've discussed in our previous videos that we've done, there's obviously this sort of the coast, the southern coast of Pakistan, where you find all these remains, ancient ruins of all these just sort of different port type cities or buildings or whatever it might be. And I know we covered the Hingol National Park, which is more the west side of that coast, the southern coast of Pakistan, so more
Yep.
bordering with Iran and all of that, and sort of just underneath the Gulf, which is like Oman and all those places. So now today we're looking at going slightly to the east, in towards Sindh, where the Indus Valley it no longer sort of flows through that bit, but in the ancient times the river did flow there. And what's so crazy about this particular site is that this is another one of those Campbell that we discussed where you literally can just go there,
Yep. Yeah. Walk
right?
up. There's no UNESCO, no World Heritage, no government
No,
stopping you touching things. We can walk around and be archaeologists, right? Dig around, scratch around, and see what we
absolutely.
find. Yeah.
And
That's
this
the
one I'm
fun part.
particularly excited about, this site, because it's so untouched and it's not, people don't really know that much about it. It's not somewhere that, people would, unless you're a real historic history buff and you're going to Pakistan for that reason, you might go and visit this. But otherwise, people just don't know it exists.
Not really
They just
much of
don't.
Pakistan, right? There's heaps there, but it hasn't really been discussed much in the alternative sort of history side, apart from maybe the Sphinx. But it is, the Indus Valley, right? It's Mesopotamia. Is that what it was called? Is
It's
that
Mesopotamia.
that's
Well, it
Mesopotamia?
was
That's that
Mesopotamia was
region.
more Iran, but yeah, it was part of
It's
that
it's
same.
it's all that part of
It's
that
all
region, right? The
Indo-Iranian, the whole thing.
cradle of
Yeah.
civilization, as they tell us. So there's definitely a lot there, right? And it's in part of that strip that looks like it's been nuked or something, that big desert, right? Because cradle of civilization, it doesn't make sense that it was a desert, if that story is correct, of course. But we know there were big civilizations there, and they wouldn't have risen in a desert. So it was a different, climate back then, right? with like more
definitely.
water, like you said, the rivers have dried up and moved and all this kind of stuff. So we're going to have a look at I've forgotten what it's called, but it's basically an old port that used to be on a river and now is in the middle of the desert kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's kind of still like you it's still like a creek, right? So you still there's still bits of water, so you can see the remnants of it. So it's still quite waterlogged at certain times. So you can definitely see that, this was a delta sort of area, and there's still little bits of streams and bits you can find there. I've got a little presentation that I actually created with just
Yes.
because today's modern, I mean, normally we've been doing sort of, we get carried away, don't, well, I get carried away and then it goes on for about 2 hours. But I think today we're going to sort of keep it really succinct, and we're going to try and focus on what we're trying to show
We're
you and
just,
not just
yep.
go into like tangents, even though we can't promise.
Yeah.
But I'll
All
share
right.
this screen just to give
Jump
someone
in.
like you guys some visuals, like to see like what this place was. Now, hang on, let's see if I can do this because I'm a bit. Can you see something?
Not yet. It's coming. There it is. Yes, it's up.
Ah, you can see. Right.
Banbhore.
I wonder what happened if I put this in presentation mode. What actually happens?
Oh,
I wonder if
I
I
have
could do
no
that. I
idea
don't
what
know.
happens.
Hang on. God, everyone's probably looking at this and going, "You noob." That's what my kids are going, "Noob."
Oh, they're looking, going,
I don't know how
God,
to
you're
do it. Anyway,
organized.
forget it. We're just going to keep it like this because I don't want to mess around with it and it to get ruined, because it should just give me an option. I'm not very good with Google Slides. I normally work with the Microsoft Office stuff. But
That's
yeah,
all
for some
right.
reason, I'm working with slides. So that's what's happening.
I'll
Right.
get
So this
started.
place, as you can see in these pictures, I'm going to try and expand them. So I got AI to create these two pictures, by the way. So these aren't any real depictions. I just kind of put in a very like detailed description of what I found to see what it would come up with. And I quite liked these two because I felt like they kind of gave me that vibe of this is probably what it looked like, or at least something along those lines.
Yeah.
But today, this place is known as Banbhore. Sorry, I've spelled that wrong there. Um, so Banbhore, ban, not at bam, so ignore the M, it's N. So Banbhore is what it's called today. And in the ancient records, what they found is that there's three different names that describe this exact same sort of place. And no one's like 100% sure, but most of the accounts that we find where they talk about Banbor or Barbarikon, which is a Greek word, or Debal, which is what we get from the Islamic sort of conquest side of things, that's what they named it. So there's three different sort of histories of the same place that kind of shows you that how many, centuries this place was used by
Mm.
different civilizations that came, or different peoples that came into the same region. That was quite interesting. So it kind of shows you how
Oh,
ancient it was.
yeah, and you got to wonder why the people abandoned it if it was still a good place to live, right? Like, is that evidence of resets or something? Who knows? But definitely,
Exactly.
as we know, hi history is we're
Sorry.
building on the shoulders of giants, as they say. They always build in the same spots. That's normally energetic.
Yeah. I feel really bad because I've like literally messed this up because I've called it
Oh, it's
Bamboo.
okay, Abby.
So anyone who's looking at,
Ignore the
guys, it's not
spelling.
called Bamboo. You will not find anything under. It is Ban and then
B-O-R-E.
B-A.
Yes,
Yeah, it's a
that's
different.
all right.
It's yeah. So that's what we're sort of focusing on today on this ancient port city. We are going to be visiting it. What it looks like today is this. So this is what it actually looks like, the overall site. I'm just trying to see how I can make these pictures a bit more. Can you guys see
Yeah.
this?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Right.
I mean, it
So,
looks like a walled city for sure,
oops.
right? It's got those rounded ramparts, bastions, whatever we want to call them on
Yeah,
the
these things
outside.
Mm.
Mm.
So
And is
what
it,
I'm
is that the
thinking
port
is,
side? It looks like
yeah,
it. It's
so
all
this,
sort of
I
cut
think
out,
this was
isn't it?
all water from what
Yeah.
I understand. So this was all water because it's a raised city. And what's really interesting is that it was very heavily fortified as well. So you can see the outer wall there with the bastions on it, but there's also an inner wall that kind of protected the citadel side, sort of the actual mound that you can see. And there's in that mound, there's a big sort of square. Um, sort of you can see that square sort of part there
Mm.
uh,
Looks
on the
like a
top,
computer
and
chip.
that they say that's the site of the big mosque, the most ancient mosque in the subcontinent, apparently
Okay.
sat there. But we've got our own theories about that, don't we?
Yes, we
Yes, we do.
do.
Yeah. So this picture obviously really shows that this was a very, prominent and large sort of piece of land that was being used as a port city. And
Yeah.
they found baths in there. In the artifacts that they've actually found, they've got like there's evidence of textiles, so actual textile industry. They found metallurgy. So they was doing a lot there, pottery, so all sorts of different pottery. And it's actually really quite it's interesting some of the sort of the information that we have around this. So, for example, one of the key things about this place is that the different names, because that kind of gives away that what why were they called why was it called by different names? And in the first century, I'd say that the evidence they have kind of goes back to, they've dated it back to anywhere between the second, I'd go even further. I'd probably go fourth and third and fourth century BC. But the actual archaeologists have coined it to be the second century BC all the way up to the 13 AD, that this place was actually bustling and thriving and was in constant use during that period. But around the first century BC, there was an anonymous Greek sailor who wrote a quite a detailed and useful handbook, which was titled the Periplus Maris Erythraea. I was trying to say it before, wasn't I?
Yeah.
Erythraea, or in a translation, that is the circumnavigation of the Eastern Ocean. And this was like a kind of like a gazette of all the different. So what they found in it was like a kind of like an inventory almost, and or like it was of all the different sea lanes and all the different ports and all the different commerce across the sort of seaboard between Egypt and South India. So it actually had a lot of details of lots of other sort of ports. And the book tells us that this particular place was an extremely busy port named Barbarikon. So that's where it gets where they've kind of found this other name. So it was actually known as something else. And they describes it sitting in the Indus Delta, right? So in the descriptions, it's saying so a lot of archaeologists, a lot of historians have actually said, okay, well, I think we can safely say this was that place
Yeah.
along the Indus Delta. So that's kind of where that name Barbaricon comes from. But what's really interesting is that they traded with most of the countries of the civilized world at the time. And,
Mm. Well, we don't hear a lot of Egypt, trading with South Asia, do we? So
we
that's
don't.
that's interesting. I mean, but the world was clearly a lot more connected back then than they want us to believe, right?
Yeah, I know, of course. I mean, like, we know that there was like tin trade going on from England and like
Yeah.
metal trade going on and people coming, into the British Isles all the way from like the Mediterranean and even I would say the Indus Valley. I think
Mm.
there is evidence of that. So yeah, I think we're all on the same page that there was a big global sort of mariner sort of civilization that existed,
Yeah.
where we were trading, we were going all over the gaff really, weren't we?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, we see it even with artifacts, you get the same artifacts in the Indus Valley as you do in South America, right?
Yeah,
Same,
you do.
gods and things and idols. So yeah, we were definitely
You've
talking to
got the
each other.
swatch sticker as well, haven't you? Which is quite an interesting one,
It is, yes, yes.
which you
Obviously
find everywhere.
vilified a bit, but means basically luck and wealth and happiness, right?
Yeah, and also, if you look at it, everything in this reality from what I've worked out from all of my knowledge gaining journey is that we live in a realm of cycles.
Yes,
And these cycles can just be seen everywhere. We know that because of this,
totally.
what we found with the Fibonacci secret, the sacred geometry,
Yeah.
how the ancients even, their buildings. And, we know that from all the studies that you've done, we've all done, like seen, right? These huge cathedrals that are built with this geometric sort of parameters and geometric architecture, and it's all sort of symbolizing these cycles, isn't it? Because it's all a lot of it is in that sort of round sort of shape, and everything's in cycles. So, I think time is the same as well. So I think time is obviously not linear, it's also cyclical. So I think the swatch sticker is just a depiction of that. And
Yeah.
we,
Well, yeah, yeah. The turning of the stars, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's the turning, and it's all astrological because we know how
Mm.
much in the ancient, and especially even in antediluvian times, like they were so into timekeeping and looking at the stars, and because it was all about the turnings, wasn't it? Everything was about the
It's the
turning
sky
of the
clock, right?
stars.
It's the best clock we got, man. The sky.
Sky. I do
Mm.
believe we live in a clock. That's what I tell everyone. I'm like, we live in a big, massive clock. And they're like, what are you talking about, Afi?
Yeah, well, we
But
do. I
yeah,
mean,
so
stars revolve around us, right? We don't shoot through the universe, or else none of this timekeeping, mapping, astrology, anything would make any sense at all.
no, it wouldn't at
Mm.
all. So yeah, so this is the ancient port of Barbarikon, and we will be visiting there. And what's really interesting is that some of the goods that there have been sort of documented in this journal that was found, this Periplus, it tells us obviously that the ships came as far away from as Egypt, right? But
Mm.
also talks about the actual goods that they were using, cotton, ironware, um, like precious stones. So, for example, there's evidence of lapis lazuli being bought from mines in Afghanistan, and different sort of areas because Afghanistan is a big sort of mineral heavy terrain.
Okay.
So there was a lot of imports coming in. So there's also a lot of evidence that this place flourished because of its imports. So
Yeah.
not necessarily what it was exporting, but what it was bringing in.
Yeah,
So there were
yeah.
things like,
Like its
yeah,
position, right? It was in that position between Europe and Asia and all that kind of stuff. So,
yeah. And
yeah.
if this guy was Greek, so that means obviously, there was already trade going on with the Greeks in the Mediterranean, right? So there's evidence of wines, silver, like glassware, drinking vessels, all sorts of things they found that were all not native. So obviously they're being imported in. So it was a rich port. This is what it
Yeah.
describes as. So it was very opulent in terms of, you know, they had like all the riches. So obviously being a big, big port city or a big maybe main port in the ancient world, because this particular seabed is one of the most deepest as well in the world. I know that because recent news, the Chinese have bought most of the port land in Pakistan, and they've been developing it. That's
Yeah.
another topic. I knew you'd going to shake your head when you heard that one. So when we go there, so that Makran coastal highway that we discussed last time, which is on the west side towards Iran, where the Hingol National Park and the Sphinx and all of that is, that's where Gwadar Port is. And they've taken over that. So the Chinese have literally taken it and leased it for, I think, I don't know how many hundred years. I don't know
Normally a
how long it is,
hundred years. Yeah, they've got Melbourne
probably.
Port as well. It's just let's not
Have
talk
they
about
got that?
that
I didn't
though.
know that.
Yeah, yeah, man, they're everywhere, right? And but it's a communist country where no one can leave, but yet there's Chinese running businesses in every country you go to.
Yeah, I
Explain
don't
that to
get
me.
that.
That doesn't make any sense. It's all a story, man. It's all crap.
Yeah, it is. Everything's a story, isn't it? That's what I've come to realize.
His
Everything.
story, man.
Anywhere you go, you just have to take one layer off, and you're like, what?
Yeah,
It's like
it all
such a
falls
lie.
apart. I know.
Everything falls apart. It's just very fickle, isn't it?
So we're going to go out and look
But
for
yeah,
ourselves. So come and dig with us. Like we get to dig around there if you want to.
we can go right up to them. And I'm really, really excited about this one because what's so crazy is, and I know I've told you guys this before, that a lot of my journey has been quite guided and almost like it's like you couldn't make this shit up, almost sort of moments, right? And where I
Yeah.
am today and what I'm discussing with you is so poignant in terms of like my childhood because I would go to Pakistan. Both my parents were in the aviation industry. So my mum worked for an airline. My stepdad was an actual airline pilot. And we would travel, right? And we'd go a lot of the time to Pakistan because all my mum's family was there. So we'd go there every year. And my uncle, my mum's brother, I had, for years, I was visiting probably 5 or 10 minutes away from this site for years. Can you imagine? And I've done some crazy adventurous things with me and my cousins where our mums are all gossiping away and we're in Karachi city and the mums are all gossiping away with the aunts and we're sort of bored and we've like, what should we do? And we're like sort of like 11, 12, which is still very young. And we've jumped on to a bus because my cousin's like, I know how to let's go to my dad's factory or our uncle's factory. And my uncle and my dad, my mum's brother and my mum's brother-in-law, both of them had bought ice factories, which is a big business around this area because there's a lot of water or stuff. I don't know why. Or fisheries are around there. I
Oh
think
yeah,
that's what it
yeah.
is. It's to do with the fisheries. So they had this huge factory, which for us was like going to, I don't know, Six Flags or something because of the way it was designed. Because it had this, because it was an ice factory. So these huge chutes with, like these big t tube sort of like thing, like almost like a slide going into
Yeah.
this huge swimming pool of water, which is obviously where they were getting the water to make the big ice blocks. They had this huge showery thing on the roof, which was like you're in this tropical shower or something. It was really crazy. So we'd jump on the bus and we'd go to this place because it's called Gharo, Garo. That's the name of the town or the city that's the closest here. It's about an hour drive from Karachi main city. But the point is, I spent a lot of time in this area, not even knowing that there was this bloody ancient port city right next door. Like, because just as
Mm.
a kid, you just don't know, do you? But I do find it interesting now when I do the research. I'm like, geez, I actually, visited all these places without realizing. But yeah,
Mm. Oh,
you can't tell it's
there is no
there.
coincidence, right? There's no
There's no
chance.
coincidences.
Mm.
No coincidences. So going back to our archaeological findings and what the history, his story tells us, that it was an affluent place because obviously they must be getting large sums of like customs, like taxes and all of that, whatever they were charging for ports to come in. So yeah, they. What's interesting is that this handbook it designates this country of Barbarikon, whatever you want to call it, as Indo-Scythian. And I know you've been having quite a lot of discussions around the Scythians and the Parthians and stuff with Guy. I know I mentioned that to you because,
Yeah.
so yeah, that's an interesting connection there. So the
Right.
Scythians, or we there is we could call them the Saka Empire as well because the Saka Empire started in India and they were Indo-Iranian, from the Caspian Sea, the steppe herder guys, Scythians, right? So that's how the Saka Empire began. It was these guys that did it. Um, so yeah, it was, I think, early first century. So these horse riders had completely swamped the whole southern, um, you know, part of Sindh, which is where we go. This is under the Sindh district.
Yeah.
And that's how the Greeks came to know them, is because the Scythian king I think he was resided in the inland capital was called Minagar or something like that, which is present day Hyderabad, which is all in this same area. So there's lots of references to this region with different names
Yeah.
um, that the Greeks called them basically. But yeah, so that's kind of like that. I find that that's very interesting information. Let me go back to our where's our presentation gone? Hang on. I keep losing things.
Oh, yeah. You've got those
Yeah.
other screens up. Yeah.
So it's a fort. So as you can see, so it is known as Banbhore Fort as well. So I have got some pictures, some bit more close up of some of these sort of bastions and these gates, because there's quite a few gates around. It was heavily, heavily fortified. So obviously they were
Mm.
making sure they're protecting all their goods and stuff. So there's that
Yeah.
picture
That's a
there.
thick wall, isn't it? Jeez.
Yeah, it is quite thick,
A
isn't
lot of
it?
bricks.
And you see these tiny little like holes in there as well, so you can
Yeah,
see them.
yeah, that top bit where they're all sort of separated, that's kind of all through that region, isn't it? When we see it
Hmm.
on other buildings too, but yeah,
It's
not sure
almost,
what
yeah,
that's
because you can see
for.
it, yeah, because these little they go all the way down, don't they? These sort of
Yeah, you
openings
can
that
see
they've
them over
got with the
here.
little.
Yeah.
So that's probably where they're going to be shooting their arrows out from or
Well,
something. I don't know.
that's what they would tell us, but like I've been in some star forts and that, and the walls are so thick, you don't have any view at all. If you're on the
Really,
inside of the wall trying to shoot through this little slit, you can't, like, your view's like maybe a couple of meters across.
it's impossible then.
Yeah, yeah, we've looked through and we went to in Belfast,
Mm.
not Belfast, Belgrade. And yeah, they were trying to tell us all these little holes in the walls were for guns and arrows and that, but you could like you look through them and you like you've just got this little vision of a square meter kind of thing. So I don't know what they're for.
Please,
It could
isn't
have been
it?
some kind of air conditioning maybe or something else, but
Yeah, it
I
could
mean
be.
this
And
is
and if
they
you look
always
at
tell us
this,
it's about war, right? Everything is about war and everything's a fort, so who
it could
knows?
be also, don't forget this was on water.
Mm,
So, like my theory is that the ancient world where they knew what water actually was, unlike us, and utilized it in the correct way, right?
mm.
So this is, like the labyrinth in Crete. I don't think it was to keep a senator. I think it was like it looks like a computer chip if you look at it from the
Yeah,
top.
yeah,
So
it looks yeah like a digital
water.
antenna. Definitely, it does.
So yeah, so there's definitely that. And I think once we're there, we'll be able to do, I can't wait. We'll be able to really get up close and have a look at this and make all our, show all our theories that we have. But yeah, so they've also got so the way that this site is, it's obviously a walled city. It was a walled city. And then you've got this mound bit, which is where, the whole there's another wall that covers that citadel part. So it is a mounded city, and on the top of this mound you have this the remains of, so the floor is quite still quite intact, as you can see.
Mm.
um but obviously this was all
Wow.
covered with mud and stuff, and archaeologists have now,
Yeah,
obviously there's been quite a lot that's gone on in terms of excavations, not as much as it needs to. They're trying to get UNESCO to, put an application. UNESCO won't give it, of
yeah,
course it
good.
won't.
So we get there.
They
We
don't.
we get to dig around. That's good.
We get to dig around. Now, the
Mm.
interesting fact here that your viewers might find quite interesting is that they claim that this whole part was, there's three distinct, so let me go back. So there's three distinct histories. So I've obviously discussed with you guys the Scythian and that sort of Greek side of things. Then you come into the Brahmic and the Buddhist sort of guys. And it was while it was under their reign, so the Hindu or the Vedic kings that were there, that's when the Islamic invasions happened, according to history.
Yeah.
Okay. So this whole site is a very, very famous for being a very prominent Islamic and significant Islamic site in the subcontinent. So this particular port,
Mm.
because they believe that this is where the conquest of Islam came into um, the subcontinent
Yeah.
via this particular place. And it was Muhammad bin Qasim, who was the conqueror, who came in around 717 AD, around that time. Now, what's really interesting is, and I'll show you the picture of it, this mosque, right? So you can see
Yes. Yes. The
domed,
mosque.
all of that. This is still there, right?
Yeah.
And you can see it's got those similar type of spiral things there. Now, this mosque they claim is the oldest mosque, the most ancient mosque in the subcontinent. Okay. And it was Muhammad bin Qasim came in and he brought Islam into the subcontinent, and that was the end of, the Hindu kings, and that's the start of the Muslim era in the subcontinent, right?
Mm.
Now, funnily enough, this mosque was built before, so it's dated as built before that conquest happened. So it's like the maths just ain't mathing, mate.
Founders, man. Find and seek, right? Oh,
finders
so how
keepers.
old do they say it is? What, with 1,000 years?
They've said it's around 700,
700.
70, something like that. I've got the exact dates actually.
Which
I
is
should.
interesting because it looks exactly like buildings that we're told are like 200 years old, right?
Exactly. That's so funny. It's
Oh,
like the
insane.
thing is, the more and more we do this, it just becomes ridiculous, doesn't it?
Oh,
After a
it's just
while.
it's just everywhere. It's all the same stuff. The pillars, the domes. That's a bit more Moorish, I guess, with those arches. So some
Yeah.
people think it's Islamic now, that sort of pointy arch, but yeah, it's all the same stuff, man. I mean, and I think it's because they were all machines of some kind at the beginning when they were built, and they just
Probably.
they're components, right? They all have similar components.
They do. And I mean, this one's got these three extra, I don't know what these three extra domes are, but yeah,
Domes,
it's
yeah.
definitely, again, it's on water, it's near water, it's connected through, they've got, you can see how precise this city was planned. You can see the lanes and, where the gullies for the water are going and all of that sort of stuff. So, yeah, I'm with you on the fact that I do think that these were ancient technology, these buildings. It's just because we knew a lot more at that time.
Mm.
But again, as soon as you, like we said, you just peel one layer off, like any normal person, even a child will, if you tell them that this is the date when Islam entered the subcontinent and then tell them, oh, well, this is the most ancient mosque. Well, they didn't know what a mosque was then.
No,
How the
it wasn't
hell did that
invented.
become the most ancient mosque? Like, at least get your bloody facts right. Like, at least, be a bit cleaner with it, you know what I mean? It's so like
I know, like they don't even
sloppy,
check their
like
own
the
stories, man. Like
yeah, I
there's
know, it's
so
like so
many.
sloppy.
Jeez, it's I know.
But you know what it is? It's so funny, is the reason I find it quite insulting actually, because it's like it's sloppy because they think we're such
Yeah,
idiots,
yeah,
right? I
yeah.
mean, I guess we are. I mean, the majority of the collective are because everyone's just buying it.
Mm. Well, that's
Everyone's
why they
like,
have
okay, then that's what
experts, right?
happened.
And they have their
Yeah.
universities and experts, and everyone thinks, oh, well, he's an expert. I'll just listen to what he says and believe it. But it's
Mm,
all crap. Like all the experts are just more programmed than anyone else, right, on the story. That's all it
exactly.
is. Like, get the story right before you go out and tell everyone, right? That's what an expert is.
Yeah. I mean,
Uh,
they've done like only two like they did like two really superficial excavations around 1920 something and then 1950s again. And but the more detailed sort of like archaeological sort of excavations that happened were more like in the 19 I think late 50s and then again in the 1960s by a Pakistani archaeologist actually. But yeah, it's definitely when they did that, that's when they actually didn't know about how heavily defensive the walls and the semicircular, they actually didn't know of that when they first found it. So this all happened after the Pakistani archaeologists got involved after 1965. And then they found
uh,
all these, and then they found all these gateways that were leading to the seafront as well as towards the inland direction. So again, the connection with the water, right?
so it was buried basically, and they had to uncover it, right? As with
Yeah,
everything,
and
everything seems to be buried.
yeah, everything's buried. And, we discussed last time that there's obviously mud volcanoes, actual mud volcanoes
Yeah.
on the coast of that southern coast. So we
Mm,
know that, if there has been some kind of a reset or a cataclysmic event or whatever, that it's very likely because we've got a bloody mud flood there and we've got the whole of Hingle Park, which is covered, all those buildings that we saw, like the Grand Canyon is just covered with that mud sort of sandstony kind of stuff, right?
yeah. 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 The
But yeah.
hard, yeah.
But the mosque for me was a real sort of like this mosque narrative of like, I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, how can, come on. It's the most significant discovery of that place is that mosque, right? And they did find inscriptions actually around that mosque. And let me just find my notes where it says, yeah, it was corresponding to the year 727 Common Era, yeah. So 727 is what it's saying. And that was 16 years before the Arab invasion
Hmm.
of the conquest, right? So
Yeah.
that's what that says. Now, who's to say that the people at that time might have put that inscription in and only made it like 15 years before because they didn't want to, I don't know, they didn't want to make it, I don't know, look too obvious, or I don't know what they were trying to do. But it just seems to me that they probably the ones that put that bloody inscription in there just to kind of cover it up that,
Oh, so it's
hang
got a
on.
date inscribed on it, has it? Is that what they were
Yeah, not
dating
on
it
there, but
from?
there's a separate little um like an edifice kind of
Yeah,
uh thing. So
Stella or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah, yeah.
So it's almost like you've taken it and stuck it on or something like that, just to like show everyone that this is the story, everyone.
Oh, they love
But
doing that,
yeah,
right? Just put their little plaques up and there you go. That's
yeah,
clearly the date. Look, there's numbers there.
exactly. Yeah,
Mm.
and sometimes I even look at a lot of these 18, when I go past even where I live at the moment, because I live in England, and this particular town is where the Magna Carta was written. And it's a very old, you can see the ancient old world here, like openly. And like, you see it all around London. But a lot of the houses and a lot of the buildings, you have the 18 built in 1881, you've just got it in there. But I sometimes feel that it was that a later invention of them just going along, going along all of these different buildings they found and just sort of sticking in their date. I don't
Totally.
know.
I think
Yeah.
totally. I mean, there's examples of buildings where there's photos before that where it's got a date, then you can see they've come in and altered it.
Hmm.
But of course they put these plaques on stuff it's like a photo. Like we get a photo and it just has a date and a name on it, which someone's
Yeah.
written. We don't know who wrote that, if it's correct, when it was written. So, everyone goes off this very, very surface kind of um, information, right? And think that that proves, the whole thing. But,
Yeah.
anyone can put a little plaque up on a building or a little stela out the front saying, yes, this was built here and by then, I think it's just part of hiding history myself. It's building up
Yeah.
their timeline, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this guy who I was talking about, who's written a few books, he's written the Giants of, what's he written? Giants of something. The Land of the Giants, Desoy. So up in the Himalayas, so where I've bought some land, and I was telling, we want to do our like a
Mm.
tour there and do an expedition up there as well. That has a lot. They have a lot of these ruins up there as well. So yeah, there's a lot of evidence of giants and all that sort of stuff as well. So this guy who's written this
Wow.
book, he's done quite a good job of this particular site because it's quite neglected.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's
UNESCO, I
close
read,
close to
go
the
and say
Middle
that.
East too, right? Where well, the Bible, if there's any truth in it, talks about giants, close to that area, right? The ones of Anak, was it? Anak? And
Yeah.
the
Well, there's
Philistines and all that
bloody
kind of
giants
stuff.
everywhere.
Yeah, yeah, well, exactly right.
Did you ever hear the story of the giant of Kandahar? You know, the
Yeah,
one in
yeah. I was
Afghanistan? Because
just
that's
thinking
quite
about that.
close, really.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
like what,
yeah.
the Tora Boras? That's the
Yeah.
Tora Bora mountain range, which is like going up there, and then you've got where we're going, like here. So
Yeah, right.
if you bump into a giant, we
Might find a
do.
giant out there. Apparently
But
that
that was a
giant
very
wasn't very
interesting
friendly.
story. I really got into it.
But he wasn't the friendly giant, that's for sure, right?
No, he wasn't. And then, and sometimes I'm like, did they just make that up? But, we don't know.
No, we don't know.
They
It's
talk
just it's
about the
just all
two teeth and
interesting.
everything.
Yeah,
What's
yeah,
that?
yeah. It's just interesting, right? And as we get more information, then it becomes more or less true, right? We can't sort of look
Yeah.
at a story and go, "Oh, that's completely fake, it's false," or "That's completely the truth," because we don't know.
Yeah.
It's just a
No, we don't
story.
know.
But it could be.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. The region that it's in, the double rows of teeth, the red hair, that there's a lot of similarities, right? With
There
other
is, and this is what a
stories.
lot of people don't realize that Pakistan is actually, I've been told off to calling it Pakistan, by the way, so I'm going to stop doing that because it's not how you pronounce it.
Oh, how do we
So
pronounce
some of my family
Pakistan?
saw our last one. They're like, "Who do you think you are calling it Pakistan?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, like I should actually just say it." So it's Pakistan actually. So
Pakistan.
it's all the as are R's. So it's Pakistan because bark is a
Pakistan.
word. So if you notice that every country around that region has got an Istan at the end, so you got
Yeah, yeah,
Tajikistan,
yeah.
Afghanistan, Pakistan.
Afghanistan.
The
Yeah.
Istan is the land, means
Okay.
land. So Afghanistan is the land of the Afghans.
Yeah.
Get it? Now, Pakistan, actually,
Ah,
sorry, Pakistan, like a park. So Pakistan
land of
is was
parks.
named Pakistan because Pak means pure, like the land of the pure, like meaning the like
Oh,
spiritually pure, basically. That's what it means.
wow. The
So if in
spiritual
Islam,
people,
if you are Pak, that means you are pure.
pure.
Yeah,
Nice.
so that's what it means.
I'm very
Anyway, going
park.
back to why even that's a
I'm
see, I told you I'm going
so
to go into
spiritual.
tangents. I never
Yes.
stick to what I say. So,
Wow.
another really interesting
Oh,
find, they keep saying it's Roman baths.
that, that, that.
Please tell me what you think that is.
Well, it's a semicircle. It's not a bath because it's a half bowl. It's not made like a bath. How do you step into that? How do you sit in
Exactly.
that? Right? I don't know what that is. It could be some kind of resonator. It could just be a water, feature or collector, but it's not built like a bath. Like, how
It's
do you get in
not.
and out of
I
it?
can't wait for us to go
It's
and see this
not a
bit
bath,
because I
no.
really want us to actually like literally get in there. Like walk around and like roll around and just see like, actually see how was this used? Like what was this? So
Mm.
you've got
I mean,
this. Let me see if I've got any notes written under there. No, I
'cause
haven't. But
it's
yeah,
pretty
so I just
clean,
think
right? It
of
doesn't look like it was used too much for industry or metallurgy or anything because it's very smooth and clean still.
what this bit.
That
Yeah.
thing, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, and there is information about that, but it's just so everything's just bullshit, isn't it? That's the other thing. It's like there's no even point you reading what
Well,
they're saying about it. It's
no,
like I'm not going to read it. I'm just going to go there and I'm going
they
to make
just
my
make
own
shit up,
conclusion.
and it has to match their narrative, right? So they're like, oh,
Yeah.
well, we found baths other places, and of course they're all Roman baths, right? Yeah, good one. So they just put it down, right? Just probably
Yeah,
like the mosque.
indeed.
Oh, look, there's a dome. Oh, it must be a mosque. We call every other dome building around here a mosque. Okay, it's a mosque. Okay, this is a bath because it's a hole in the ground, like, and we
Well,
can't
yeah, and
explain
it's
what it
like you can
is.
go to bloody Russia and you can go to the Red Square and see the lovely domes on there. And you can go see the domes on Capitol Hill, the building, in DC.
Yeah,
And these
all through
domes
Europe,
existed
Australia,
everywhere.
Africa, wherever you want.
And,
Yeah.
and we know on a energetic level what domes do, right? We know how they resonate and we know how all of that ancient tech works, or at least some idea of how it could have worked and how that
Mm,
sort of matches up with the how, our reality is. So the elements and what we're living in, right? So how do we engage with those elements to get the most, right? And that's what I think the ancients were doing. They
totally.
understood.
Yeah.
They understood and we didn't. But yeah, so again, here's this one. So hang on, where's that gone? Oh yeah, I do have notes because I wanted to read that. So this is the southern wall. So can you see these steps?
Yeah. Going
They're
down into
proper
the
steps they've
water. Yeah.
uncovered. Like they're so well preserved because obviously no one had given a shit about this place for ages and it
Mm.
was all covered. So as the archaeologists started excavating, I mean you can see what's that little hole there?
Yeah. Something's going on there. Oh, it could be, yeah,
So
some kind of drainage, maybe.
drainage system, there you
Yeah.
go. So yeah, there's a path that sort of, so this path here that you see here, this will probably be the sea on the other side. So then
Yeah.
you can see it's coming in from the sea and then you can come up to that. But yeah, I wrote some notes down here. So because this is the southern wall. So inside is the fortification area, which is clearly a citadel, hosted houses, shops, workshops, public buildings. Um, yeah, so they've actually uncovered other stuff on the other side as well. So and there's two adjacent sites as well to this site where they're now starting to look at that. This could be even bigger than what they thought. But this was
Nice.
quite interesting. So they found this large stone structure, which I can't find a picture of the specific bit that they're talking about, but when we go there, we'll probably see. So that
Mm.
stone structure is partly submerged and it's all silt laden. So again, we know that, rivers do silt, but then if we coming from the mud flood theory as well, then that could be a big part of why all this whole bit is just covered and full, like literally they're filled up with like mud and clay.
Yeah, yeah, and that could have
Yeah.
shut down or redirected the rivers too, right?
Yeah,
And it
absolutely.
looks like those walls are dry walls, doesn't it?
Hmm.
Looks there's no mortar in there. So I mean that's they're
Yeah, that
doing pretty well.
confused
Still
me.
standing there 1,000 years later or whatever. It's doing pretty well.
Yeah, because what surprised me, and let me just get my little folder out because I'm sure I've got more pictures than I've put into there. Hang on. Can you guys see this?
Not yet.
Not at the moment.
Got a black square. How something's happening? No, it's the no, we've got another black square.
Oh, you've got a black square.
Yeah,
Hang
over
on.
the top. It looks like you've tried to bring something up, but it's not. Oh, now it's
Yeah,
no.
okay. I'm gonna
Hello,
unshare.
we're back.
Right. Can you see that? Can you see this?
Yes, okay. Yep, ancient Mohenjo-daro settlement.
Right, this is exciting. This is not Bambor, by the way. I'm going off track a bit because I just want to show you guys some of the pictures. But
So we are
when
going
I
to
was doing,
Mohenjo-daro as well.
we are. But what's freaking brilliant is, okay, there's two things that I discovered this morning, and I was like, I'm so excited. But this place here, Malir, Mali, is actually not, it's in Karachi. And I know that because Malir is somewhere where, like it's literally in the city. So it's on still on the it's all on the coast because the whole of Karachi city is sort of starts at the coast, a bit like Barcelona, and then goes all the way back, right? So it's a huge city. It's probably bigger than London. It's one of the largest cities in the world now. It takes you
Wow.
2 hours to get across from one side to the other. And we live, yeah, and we live like where my mum lives is on the coast, literally on the beach. And that's the area that we will probably be staying, and that's the area we'll be going off on all our expeditions and all that. And it's quite a cosmopolitan part of town, and it's slightly more upper market part of town, and all the rich people live there, and all the tourists tend to go there and all that stuff. However, there's this little bit as you keep going up the coast, you get to Malir, and Malir has a cantonment there, and I know that because my cousin lives there. So there's an army base there, right? Covering up army bases, covering
Yeah,
up stuff.
old forts.
So
Yeah.
this place, they've just realized that this could be another Mohenjo-daro. So
Oh.
no one has been there, like no one, like hardly any people. And it's just not even discovered. So they've literally just discovered this or come to realize this. And now they're starting talking about it. And this is very recent. So as you can see, this particular post is dated 9th of July. So this
Yeah.
is this year. So it is all very new. So it could be another, great place for us to go and do real Indiana Jones stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. So
All
let's
right.
have a look
I'll
at
pack my
that.
whip.
That's my that's my weapon of choice, my boy. As you know from earlier, I wasn't whipping him. Don't
Oh.
worry, guys, I'm not torturing animals, even though he might enjoy it. But anyway, that's another topic. Right. How do I move this across? I hate Google.
Um,
Why did I do this to myself and do
you
this to you?
is that part
How
of
do
your?
okay, so I just
I
have to
think you
keep
probably have
clicking
to
off
shut it
each
down.
one.
Yeah.
I have to keep clicking off each one and going in it. Okay. So we've seen the bath, so we know that. This is what they call the bath. We know that's not the bath. So we've seen that. Did you see that?
The half circle bath thing. Yeah.
Right, this one was quite
And the
interesting. I
port.
liked this because can you guys see this tab or not?
No, you're not sharing yet.
I think I'm just going to have to share my whole screen with you guys. So whatever I'm doing, you guys are just doing it as well. Right, entire screen, share. Right, now you should be able to see this.
Yes, Port of Banbhore.
Yeah, see, that's how you actually spell it, guys, not like dyslexic Affy. Um, so yeah, so this is what I like. I wanted to show you some of the other pictures. So this is from the other side. So they've actually now got to a point where they are starting to. So can you see how huge these blocks are? Like these don't even look like the smaller. This looks more megalithic kind of
Yeah,
style. So this is what I
yeah.
meant by it's more ancient than what they're telling us.
It looks different to that wall in front of it too, right? It looks like it's
Exactly.
half megalithic, half smaller. Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll get a much better take on that. There's some more pictures here. these aren't as great, but it kind of gives you an idea of the terrain. So it's all creeks all around it. So you've got the land, but there's just the whole place is just full of creeks. And there's loads of these geez, what are they called? In the creek, these trees, what are they called?
Mangroves.
Mangroves, thank you. So the mangroves, apparently, they say that a lot of smuggling happens from India to Pakistan through these mangroves because apparently these mangroves, they just go all the way across from Karachi all the way to Bombay or Mumbai.
Wow.
And I've been kayaking because you can go kayaking and you get the best oysters, guys. If you're into oysters, you literally just in your little kayak and you end up going in through these tiny little deltas where it's literally just as big as your so you've got the banks on either side. And sometimes you have to like literally pull yourself through because it's so tiny. But all throughout those banks, you can just see these massive shells of like oysters, like just oysters just coming out like clusters and clusters of it. So
Wow.
it's a great place for seafood, by the way. Get some of the best seafood there. But yeah, right, let's get back to my folder of pictures and see. I don't know if I showed you guys this one, so this is a different angle, but again, we'll be looking at all of this. I don't know why I keep getting this. We'll be getting all of this. It's
Mm.
annoying though, isn't it, that you should just be able to go across your folder and just click on it and just keep going to each picture, but no, you've got to switch it off and
Yeah,
I've shown
right.
you guys the aerial
Mine,
view.
yeah, see the little arrow on the side there? Like move your
There's what?
cursor to the right-hand side, or my right down
Oh,
there.
the
There, see
arrow.
that? Click that, and you'll
Thick.
click
Oh
it.
no.
Oh, just the arrow, and you'll go to the next
Ah,
picture.
yes.
Yeah,
Well done.
that's how you do it.
Yeah, so these ones you've seen. You've seen that. Right, so this is what I wanted to show you. So you can actually see some of the
So, it,
actual houses and storages or whatever it was, the
mm,
different
it's
parts
interesting
of the
because they
city.
all look like this, don't they? All these ancient ruined cities. Like, where's the rest of the material? Like, that's literally just the bottom, almost the
Sometimes I feel like, have they just
foundation.
made this up?
Because there should be a lot of material around, right? If
Yeah.
like that's like 10% maybe, right? But
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like they have actually, which is a bit underplayed, but there is a little museum by this. They've built a little museum. And they've got quite a lot of really good artifacts that I was looking through. So actually, a lot of the stuff, like the materials that I've found, they have actually put that in there. But I get what you're saying about the actual structural side. Like, where is it
yeah,
all?
where is it all? Well, I mean,
But
that's good
then
that there might be we might be able to find some artifacts ourselves, right?
I think we will. When I went to, I know I told you about the Star Fort that I went looking for, which not many people know, and that's again off the coast of this. You have to go in the boat, and then you have to get into your kayaks, and then you got to kayak into these swampy bits in the mangroves, and then you leave your kayaks there, and then you got to walk for another freaking mile or something across this plain of just swampy, deserty, which is like it was actually quite scary, and I thought I was going to die, but that's another story. And then you get there, and when we got there, I found like literally just lying on the floor, like all these bits of pottery. Like I literally could put them together. It was just so
Wow.
crazy to me. And my friend
Yeah.
was like, she goes, I told you you're gonna love it. And I was like, I know. But then, because it was so dangerous to get back to our kayaks that we had to get rid of all of those stupid artifacts that we got. And I was so upset. I remember
Oh
going home and
no.
literally going crying to my mum. I was like, I can't believe I had ancient pottery in my hands. And it's like I couldn't bring it because where this place is, the water just so when the tide comes in, it submerges it
Yeah,
but
right.
not fully, but the area around it. So the part where the actual starfall is, that's still raised. So that just gets, around it is just water, but all the land around it is marshy and it's really soft ground because it's all every day it's coming in and out, the tide's coming in and out. So
Mm.
we have this window of like 2 or 3 hours where you can get there. So it's like a full Indiana Jones mission, basically. But there is one of those Star 40 things around nearby, which is not on our itinerary, but because we
Nice.
thought it would just be too dangerous to do it. So I think
Yeah.
maybe maybe Campbell and I might, and any people who want to
Go and
who
film it
want
for
to
you.
do something extra adventurous,
Yeah,
we might plan to do something like that
that
and go
sounds
there as
fun.
well.
For
Yeah.
sure, man. I'm in.
So here's our wall again. And yeah, I
And
think
that
that's
must
pretty
be
much
the
it.
last one, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, no, not really, but got that one, showing you that one. City ruins, showing you that one. I think I've pretty much shown you everything now.
Oh,
Um, but yeah, so let me see if I can get that article back up. So yeah, so this is the guy I was talking about who's done this book, this guy here. He looks like the what's it name out of Back to the Future, the scientist,
yeah, it's
his name.
Professor Emmett.
Emmett, that's
Emmett,
it. So
what's
you've
his
got that.
surname? Doc Emmett Brown. And of course,
That's it.
Emmett
Doc Emmett
backwards.
Brown.
Emmett backwards is time.
Yeah. So yeah, he's given a lot of information. So he's saying that the artifacts reveal three distinct phases: the Scythians and their distant kinsmen, the Parthians being culturally similar, were followed by a local Brahmanic order, which in turn gave way to the Sasanian Empire of Iran. And then obviously talking about in the early Middle Ages, the Greek name that we discussed earlier, the Barbarikon, which was forgotten. Instead, we hear a port city called Debal. So this name, Barbarikon, was completely forgotten. What he's saying is, so it's only him and other small sort of historians and people like that bringing that information up. But for people didn't really know that that was even addressed or there was ever anything that existed around, from the
Mm,
Greek or from the Middle Ages. But for many, so the actual Islamic city that was apparently, conquested, was called Debal. So this is where the third name comes from. So this was the city port called Debal, the location of which matches that of Barbarikon. For many years, it was moot whether the ruined city of Banbhore was either Barbarikon or Debal, or indeed if they were three different names for the same ancient town. And then it's talking about this guy, Muhammad bin Qasim, that besieged and took over in the year 711.
oh, I love these
And
religious people who go and kill everyone. It's so
yeah,
nice
I
of
know, right?
them.
And it's like the
Peace, love,
joke
and
that.
God and death.
And what's so interesting is, right, so when you do the research on this particular conquest that happened, right, of this Islamic conquest, is that there's one document or one book which is the where they've got this whole idea from, and it's called the Chachnama. And the Chachnama is a book that was written by a Persian, I believe, that was settled in this area. And it was about, and it kind of gives the details of this conquest and the story behind it, because it was apparently there was a lot of Arab women that would come back and forth on the vessels, between Persia and different parts of the empire. And when they would go past this particular stretch, there were a lot of pirates there, and these Indian kings or these Indian Brahmanic kings or whatever under them, there
Rebels,
was
yeah.
a lot of pirates going on, and we know that pirating is a thing. It's always been like that.
Yeah, man.
And
Maritime law.
yeah,
They're all pirates,
exactly.
right?
Exactly, they are pirates, all of them. But
Yeah.
these guys, the story of how Islam came to the subcontinent is based on this story, which personally, I think is a lie. But I think there's some truth to it. There's always truths to things, and then they sort of use that and then take it. But what
Yeah.
they're saying is that the whole reason why this conquest happened was because these pirates would kidnap the Arab women, and there was a letter that was written by these Arab women to their Persian king or whatever, basically saying that you have to send your army to go and save some of these women that have been captured and our goods that they keep capturing. But they don't just capture the goods, they take the women as well off the boats. So
Mm,
we need so that's the story that they spun, right? And I'm sure that there are accounts of that happening and they might have been different, but I think this was all designed to build in the whole how they took over, right?
yeah.
Because there's other scholars. There's a guy from LSE who wrote a book about how he believes that the Chachnama, this book that or this document that was written back in those times at that around that time of the conquest by this Persian dude, it was all basically done on the order of the Persian king who was trying to, bolster himself up. So
Yeah.
he's actually found a lot of evidence in that Chachnama, which was basically kind of contradictory, right? So that's quite interesting to see, to find that there's a debate going on about that as well, of how that conquest happened. Because this Muhammad bin Qasim, he was supposedly apparently like 17, 18-year-old, conqueror. It's like, okay. I
I
don't
can
know.
imagine it'd be
There's a
great.
lot of holes in that story, and like
Yeah. I
I
mean,
won't go into because I know you're doing a short one. I'm not going to go into like a long one of that, but there is a lot more information I have around that. And when everyone comes on the tour, when we go there, I'll share a lot more of that because a big part of this expedition is the fact that both Campbell and I will be there, right? And we both got quite a lot of, research history that we've done in the
knowledge,
background. So it's quite good to have us as hosts because we're bringing that sort of,
that
the
field.
history that, yeah,
Yes. Yeah,
the
yeah.
history that is, the true
Yes.
history, or at least
At
questioning
least,
the
yeah, at
history
least
that we,
questioning it and taking off the first layer, going, "Oh my God, it's all crap." What
because
really
ultimately
happened,
we don't,
right?
none of us know, do we,
No, we
really?
don't. It's an edge, right? We can't really prove any of this. I mean, what it sounds like to me is it sounds like they're like resets. And
Yeah,
instead of conquest, they're probably just walking in, like it's happened, a couple of hundred years ago, to empty cities and just going, "Oh, it's ours. We found it. We're the
yeah,
founders." I mean,
yeah,
but then
absolutely.
they have to make up stories because they don't want us to know about cyclical resets. They want us to think it's just this linear timeline, right? Which clearly
And
it's
it's
not.
not.
Hmm.
Well, this guy, he's saying that in 894, there was an earthquake that overturned Debal, which was until then home to the descendants of its Arab conquerors. So something happened in 894.
There you go.
Be quite interesting for us to go back and have a look at.
Yeah, well, there you go. Yeah, was that the reset
There was
event?
some kind of big reset around 522 AD or around 500 AD,
Mm.
which is the start of the Dark Ages. I know we discussed that. So
A
this is
million
what,
and a half died in the city alone. Whoa.
there you
That's
go. You don't just have a million people freaking die.
and a million and a half people in a city in the 800s.
Exactly.
What the hell?
So this is why I'm saying this guy I find him really interesting because he's on pretty much on the similar, I think, mindset as us in terms of he's questioning a lot of things, but he does it
Mm.
in a really interesting way where he'll just put the facts out, like saying in 1894 an earthquake, da 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 da, and you're like, how does that make sense?
Mm. Yeah, yeah. It does.
So, an
100
earthquake
does.
overturned Debal, which was until then home to the descendants of its Arab conquerors. An old text makes the incredible claim that 1.5 million died in the city alone. This cannot possibly be true for a time when the entire province of Sindh was rather sparsely populated. Now, this bit is the lie. I don't think it
Yeah,
was
yeah, I was going
sparsely
to say, yeah,
populated.
or was it? Uh,
Right, exactly.
it's like I was
And then
saying,
it's
this
saying
is all
it's
supposed to be the cradle of civilization kind of area, which means it would have been lush, right?
it
There
would
would
have
have been
been,
waterways everywhere, and they could have easily had. But again, that's the story, that's the narrative, right? We started from Adam and Eve, or from two monkeys, right? Two retarded monkeys, and then the population increased and increased. It's never gone up and then down and then up and then down because of resets. They
yeah.
can't let that into the narrative.
But I don't get why though. It's like so weird. But then because they can still be the elites and still like take everything from us, even if we knew about that. So,
Well, they don't, it's the whole what, where, why question, right? What am I? Where am I? Why am I? And that they don't want us
yes,
answering those questions because, once we do, and also especially once we see that life was thriving in the past and probably better as far as
yeah,
living that time, then we know that what is now is crap even more, and we're going to say
exactly.
we're not going to put up with it as much, right? So they've got to tell us that I was all war and you all lived in the mud and you were all just toothless peasants,
Idiots. Yeah.
who died at 30 and all this dumb crap they tell us. Because then they can turn around and say, and now is the best time ever. We're at the epitome of civilization. Thanks to us. We're so wonderful. Follow us. It's that's what I think it is.
I agree. I agree. But yeah, this I found interesting, this whole earthquake sort of information,
Yeah, yeah,
because
that is
again, it just
interesting.
sort of, bolsters what we're thinking because
Mm,
clearly we've got our own view of what happened. And then it's saying that he's saying that this cannot be true, but then he's saying 7 decades later, right? The geographer Muhammad al-Muqaddasi passed by a ruined Debal and from hearsay confirmed the earthquake that had flattened it.
flattened
So
it.
again, they're trying to confuse us a little bit here by saying it could be hearsay, so there's no real concrete proof. But yeah, there's a guy who came decades later and said, yeah, it was an earthquake. But I'll
Mm,
tell you what will be priceless is when you go there and you meet the locals. Because I'll tell you some of their myths and stories that they have, no one's documenting these things. And they are so aligned with some of the stuff that we come up with,
yeah,
right? Like when I showed you guys the Great Wall of Sindh when we did the last or couple of podcasts ago, and we showed that Rani Court and that big wall of Sindh.
yeah.
And the locals, their myth is that they believe it was built by ghosts or
Yes,
the
that's right.
jinn
Yeah, yeah.
or the hidden. So we know that before humans existed, there was a whole nother types of civilizations. Like so now we're going into Lord of the Rings vibes, that whole level of reality.
Which is probably a lot more real than most people think. I mean, they've
And I think,
found the hobbits and they've found the giants, and all these, like, we know there were many different types of people.
yeah,
Like, we've got
exactly. And
a
they
couple of
say that the
bones.
giants are still living in the caves of this in Pakistan.
Well, yeah, well, again, it's very close to Kandahar, right? That was Iraq, wasn't it? And of course,
Yeah, well,
Persia's Iran.
Kandahar is Afghanistan. It's not even
Oh, it's
Iraq, so it's even
Afghanistan. Oh,
closer to
it
the.
is Afghanistan. That's right. It was
It is.
Afghanistan
This
more.
is what
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying. So where my mum was born in Quetta, which is like this side of the border, and then you've got this is Afghanistan, this is Pakistan, and then you've got this Tora Bora mountain range that goes, and then it kind of goes all the way up from the south. So it's kind of like, so if you think of Pakistan like that, like a strip going like that of land,
Yeah.
and then you've got the Afghanistan next to it, and then you've got India here, right? So here's Pakistan in the middle, and then you've got the Kandahar giants would be right here. And like my mum was born right here, and where we're going is right down there.
Yeah, right.
So we are
Right.
going to be in the land of the giants, is what I'm
We can
saying.
we can go cave hunting, see if we can find a sleeping giant
Well,
or not.
we're doing 2 nights of glamping in Hingol National Park. So that
Mm,
would be our one. If we're going to do call a giant, that would probably be the couple of nights we need to do.
yes,
Giant
yes.
calling rituals.
If we can just find a friendly one, that Kandahar one was scary. You don't want to find one of
We'll have to get
those.
one of the ladies, one of the nice, pretty young ladies, or for
Sacrifice
coming on
one
the
out
tour
there.
and sticking one out there like Andromeda. Sacrifice one of the. I'm joking, guys.
Sacrifice
We're not going to do
to
any
the
of that.
volcano. Yes. But yeah, it's
But
definitely the
yeah,
place, right? It's the place of history, like as literally as far as their story, this is where it all started. This
and
region,
that's
right?
why, guys,
This
they
is
don't
it.
want you to go there. And that's why I am on a mission to get people to go there to see these things from their eyes
Mm,
because they put fear in us of, oh, it's this and oh, it's so scary and oh, there's like terrorists and there's this and it's just absolute bollocks because I've been there many, many times. I'm
mm,
not saying that when you go to a new place, it's not scary. It is. I'd be scared even if I went to when I go to America, like I get scared, like in the sense that there's danger everywhere. But the way that they have promoted it to be is just absolutely clear to me that it's just to hide just hide truths.
totally.
They don't want people connecting the dots. Why is it that hardly anyone in the world knows that the Indus Valley is Pakistan?
Exactly. I've only just started working all this out since we've been talking, right? You don't, we're definitely not taught Pakistan is part of that, first civilization kind of area, right? Where everything is supposed to have come from in at least in their narrative. But I mean, when I went to the Balkans, the same thing. They've had all these wars all the time and, it's unsafe and don't go there. And half of the Balkans, like Bosnia and Serbia, are Islamic. They're Islamic, but they're Caucasians. They don't, look like the general sort of picture we're showing, but they were great. No worries at all. Like everywhere
And
I've
you'll
been, it's
find
been
the
fine.
orange haired and fair skinned and those descriptions all around there. You get them in Ireland, in Scotland, you get them in Syria, you get them
Yeah.
in, like you said, in the Balkan area, you get them in Pakistan. Like people don't even realize that being a redhead is a thing in Pakistan. It's part of our culture.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
come, my DNA is heavily mixed in with the Dravidian South Indians, which is why I'm darker. But my dad's family, they are this, my grandmother was the same skin color as you, Campbell.
Yeah.
Like you
Right.
couldn't tell that she was a Pakistani or Indian woman. My
Mm.
father, my
Well,
cousins, they're all very, very fair skinned.
it's probably not that far from the Caucasus Mountains, right? Which is where the Caucasians come from,
Well,
apparently.
it's that steppe herder stuff, right? So
Mm.
the steppe region is that Caucasus region, which is the where you get your Turks, you get your Syrians, you get your all of us lot, the Iranian lot. Then you get all of our Irish and Celtic brothers, and you get your what's that? Oh, Baroque.
Baroque,
Is it?
broke.
But what is that? In sort of Spain, there's another civilization. Oh
Baroque's
my
a kind
God,
of
why am I
music.
like my mind is completely gone blank today?
That's all right. Let us
But
know in the
anyway, we
comments,
found them
guys.
everywhere. But yeah, so that's kind of what I wanted to share with you, just little bit about this, because I think this site is so interesting.
Mm,
You know, it was an ancient emporium. It was a very significant port city. It was very well known, but clearly because we've got these Greek references of it. We've got loads of ruins, artifacts, and like I said, the museum there is not doesn't really do they have that it's not being done justice because it does actually hold some really very good artifacts in it. So we will be
nice.
able to see so you've got the Buddhist and Hindu sort of artifacts that are amazing there. Then you've got your Scythian, Parthian, all of that stuff from the Middle Ages or whatever you want to call it, or what was it? Not Iron Age. What age was that? Would that be in the
Bronze,
normie history? But
bronze,
yeah,
no?
that time, the Greeks. And then you've got your Islamic side, which is the conquest after 700 AD, and then all the way up to 13 AD. This was working. So 13 AD, which I find really interesting because the Mughal Empire began around 14th, 15th century.
Oh, okay.
This port city suddenly, mysteriously stopped being a port city after 13 AD. It just sort of stopped. So what happened? So again, back to my theory of I feel that was a time of, and so there was the 522 Dark Ages, and then there was another reset around 1500s,
Yep. Yeah.
1500s, I would even say. I mean, we might have the dates wrong, but why would this place suddenly stop being habitated? Like it was such a big, place and it was so thriving and it was, it was so important and it
Mm,
suddenly stopped in 13 AD. Why? Like, and they're saying, oh, it's because the river moved. Well, why did the fucking river move so dramatically, so quickly?
yeah. I mean, if they're doing this type of construction, I mean, I'm sure that they, could have built levees and things if it was, totally populated, right? And kept their river, but it's sounding more like a reset, right? Like, I mean, this is what we see in like, Australia and the Americas, right? Like literally they just walked into these empty cities. Like
Yeah,
they're all
literally, that's what I
still
think's
there.
happened.
Yeah. Because of
Yeah, some
reset
more
events.
pictures here of these. You can
But
see the sea there.
I'm really interested in why we only get these foundations. Because of course,
Yeah.
archaeologists will say, oh, well, all the villagers came and they took the rocks for their own house. Well, why did they leave the bottom course?
Yeah,
Like,
that's what
did they go,
I
we better not take it all because they're going to want to find this as an ancient village in one day. Like, they would have ransacked the whole place if that's what they were doing, right? I don't know.
yeah.
That's an interesting question.
So if you look here, I think a lot of this was under the sea for a long time. So if you look at in the bottom left corner where this cursor is, can you see that sort of water
Yeah,
weathering?
yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think a big part of this is that This has all been excavated now, but before that, it was just mounds of sand and stuff over it.
Mm.
So I get what you're
Well,
saying. And but when I went to, I remember when I went to Greece and I did the mainland tour, and this is when I was like 18 years old. I didn't even know about this stuff. I was just studied like ancient. I did classics. How crazy. I studied ancient classics, classical civilization.
yeah, right.
So when we went for that tour, this is exactly what you see. So you go into the sites of like you go to Pilon and Mycenae, and you go to all these different sites like ancient port cities like Toulon and like I mentioned Pylos as well. And you go and see, the ruins, and they are like you said, just like this. There's just these foundational bits that
Mm.
you see, and there's no, where's the rest of it?
Where,
Where's the
where's,
rest of it, you know?
where is the rest of it? Well, we'll have
So
to go and
yeah, I do
find out.
agree. The other thing that you mentioned that I find really interesting is that these all these stone walls, like what's holding them together?
Yeah, they look mortarless, don't they? They look like drywall construction.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't
they
know.
do.
I
And
guess the top of this wall here looks like it might have something in there. It's hard to
some kind
tell.
of mud or something.
Yeah, geopolymer, mate. I don't know. We're gonna have to
It
go and
might be
have a
good to
look for
take some samples
ourselves.
when we're there.
Somewhat.
I think we're going to go full like
Samples. Yeah, yeah.
archaeologist mode, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, it hasn't been done, and if we can get in there and do our own little
Well, let's take our little
tests
paintbrushes. Everyone who's coming, bring a freaking paintbrush with you,
and
okay?
one of
Like
those
a brand
little,
new one from your B&Q or your DIY
yeah,
shops.
one of those
And then we
mini
can just
trowel things that you can,
Yeah, let's get it. I'm gonna actually that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna get together a little
little
archaeologist kit for
archaeology
everyone.
kit. Yep.
Yay!
All right.
Everyone who's coming on the tour will get an archaeologist kit,
Archaeology kit.
guys.
All right, there you
Compliments of
go.
Affy.
Bring your own hat and whip, and we'll give you an archaeologist kit. And we'll go digging around. But that's the thing. Like everywhere else I've been, you can't you can hardly even touch any of the stuff, right? It's just
Yeah,
all tourist attractions, and it's all got a
yeah.
story, and you can't really look and dig around for yourself.
No,
But
you
here
can't.
we can. Like we literally
Yeah.
can go and play archaeologists. Well, not even play. We can be archaeologists, right? Because we'll get more right than the experts do.
Yeah, there's a bit more information. I mean, if anyone's interested, you can go to the UNESCO website. So they have got it on the UNESCO website, but they're on a tentative list. They're not on, it's not actually official, as it were.
Well, that's good. We
Because it
don't want
was,
it official until after we come back, at least. But because they'll
well,
just
yeah.
cordon it all off, right, and put in
You
all
see all
their
these tentatives. I was looking for it and
yeah.
I found this tentative list in the UNESCO, and he did actually have a decent description of it. But it's quite interesting. They're really quite disgusted by their visits. I think someone from UNESCO went there and they were like, it's just very badly looked after, and and all this sort of stuff. So they're saying
There's
Northern
nowhere to pay
Banbhore.
to enter. It's horrendous. People can see it for free and dig around. Oh my God.
Yeah, and exactly.
That
But
made
yeah, it's I
no.
like so it's got five main zones, this whole place. So the whole thing, 10-meter high mound, stand on the shore of the creek itself. We've got the measurements here. So it's 610 by 305 meters. Mound is
Bring me a
delineated by three
bring me a
meters wide
wide,
limestone
like wow.
fortification
That's a
wall.
thick wall, man.
Yep. 46 rounded bastions and three gates. The latter appear to be connected to a grid iron arrangement of the streets. Again, the grid,
Yeah.
it's just like Mohenjo-daro, really. That's the same.
Mm.
The grid streets. An interior wall divides the mound into a western and eastern sector, with the floor plans of major structures preserved on the surface of the latter half. So the largest of these have been identified as a mosque, administrative quarter, and a serai or an inn. The ground plan of its stone-built mosque is particularly well preserved and consisted of a square plan measuring 34 by 35 meters with a central open courtyard surrounded by cloisters. So the western cloister formed the prayer hall, and its flat roof was supported by 33 wooden pillars. Sorry. I had to
Illuminati
do that.
confirmed.
Yeah. So this is all this is his story, isn't it? That's
Mm.
why it's 33 wooden pillars and I'm sure when we get there we'll see it'll be, but it gives you, little bits of the
Mm.
truth in there as well.
Yeah, I mean, but I
There
mean,
was,
we don't really know what they thought 33 meant. They obviously knew a lot more about earth energies and numerology and all this kind of stuff than we do. I mean, they try and tell us 33 is this bad because everyone's linking it to the Illuminumis, but it means ascension, doesn't it? 33, Jesus died at 33. Well, the
yeah,
story says, that 33 is actually
exactly.
ascension. It's not a bad thing, but I guess everything has its polar opposite, right? Everything is good and bad, or potentially good and bad, and
Yeah.
they just
I
give
don't
us
think
the
we,
bad stuff. Everything's bad.
yeah,
Be scared.
they just give us the bad stuff. So
Yeah,
anyway,
man.
going back to that, where's our
Fear factor,
slides?
right?
I'm
They
gonna stop
they
sharing now.
they don't want us going out and exploring. They want us to stay in fear, which is what's happening at the moment, right? With all this bloody Brit card and digital ID. So that'll be an interesting thing. It'll fail. But I mean that's not going to affect the trip at all. So link below, guys. Lostworldadventures.co.uk. Check it out. It's got all the info. It's got the itinerary, and it's even got an email if you've got any questions.
Yeah, if you have any questions, do email. I mean, we put as much as Campbell and I got together and thought, try to answer as many of the questions, and there is an FAQ section. And if but there is any problems, then just email me because I'm personally, dealing with it. So, the people who have so far booked on, I've been having back and forths with them. We've been sort of, you know, we have been discussing different aspects of the tour. So yeah, it's that middle one, isn't it?
This one here, yep, Indus Valley
Yeah, I think there's a
Civilization.
little
There's the
button
date,
at the
January
bottom.
next year. So it's coming up quick. So get
Yeah,
onto it. And
it's only a
yeah,
few months away.
yeah, and we're going to be doing a few more next year to Crete, and this is northern, isn't it? Northern,
Yeah,
yeah,
so we've
North
got the Crete
Pakistan, yeah.
itineraries ready now. So we would want to do the Crete one. And we're really open. So it's really up to your community because we can, we're quite flexible on the dates because we know exactly what we're going to be doing there. We know what sites we're going to. We've got the itinerary. So yeah, but the Indus Valley one, I mean that picture at the bottom, that's Taxila, and that's not even on this itinerary. This is our next tour. This stuff is going to blow your mind. So this is slightly north. We're exploring the south at the moment, but this is north. So there will be two other tours, hopefully. So this is where we're going. So we're going to be going
Yeah,
to the south
that's
regions.
Hindle
Yeah.
National Park, yeah, with its mud-covered temples, and its mountains. It's got everything, right? Sphinxes, the big
Yeah, you got the beach. There's Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones of Pakistan. It's
That's actually
funny,
the camping this is in Hingle Park. So this is in National
yeah,
Hingle Park.
yeah, yeah. And
It's
the
brilliant. I
last
mean,
tour I
we're
went
going to
on,
have traveling chef with us. We're going to be having
yeah,
I'm telling you, he's Indiana Jones, but he's bougie as well at the
bougie
same
Indiana
time.
Jones. Yeah, everything included. Yeah, but when I went to Bosnia, Sam Osmanovic, he's called Indiana Jones too. He's got the hat and the whole thing, and so I'm surrounded by these Indiana Jones people. But yeah, all food, accommodation, everything like that is, and transportation, all that kind of stuff, all included and taken care of by a native. Is that the right word? Tour company that is from Pakistan,
Yeah,
so they know all the
they're called
stuff.
Big Sky Adventures. So if anyone wants to look them up, you're more than welcome to. They're called the Big Sky Adventures. They run lots of different itineraries across Pakistan. They're really well established. And like I said, I know them on a personal level as well as, we have the same passions.
Mm.
Uh, but
So
if you
yeah.
click on the bit where it says Indus Valley Tour on the
Um,
top right
oh,
hand
there, yeah,
buttons,
Indus Valley Tour.
yeah, so then that is more specific to what we're doing, and it has your personal invitation, our personal invitation from
There it
us.
is, the invitation.
So
So
this is
check
to
it
you
out.
guys to tell you what we're trying to do. Then there's the itinerary. Those are the basic details of it.
And
And
of
then if you
course,
go
flights
book
are included.
now, if you go to click book now, it should take you to this form here. And what we need from you guys is if you put in your name, details, and everything, and just how many of you will be coming along, and then send it, that comes through to us, and then we will send you the details of how to further
Confirmation.
book it. But I have put out like details of it, the bank details, all the things you need to do. And then obviously our terms and conditions and health safety and all of those good things that, logistical and operational things that you guys need to know. But one thing we do recommend is that everybody coming on the tour, please make sure that you get your
Travel
insurances.
insurance. Yeah.
Get your insurance because that's one of our criteria that we do need to see your insurance before we can confirm you.
Yeah.
There is also, um, obviously some of our governments, they'll have like, foreign office alerts and things like that, and that might affect your insurance if the region is listed. So just be aware of that. But you can just email us and one of us, Campbell or I, one of us will get back in touch with you and we'll let you know
Yeah. We'll get it all sorted.
what the
Yeah.
deal
So
is. But yeah,
basically,
otherwise
just
it's
need
all
your
pretty,
flights, just need to get there and have some insurance, and off we
yeah.
go.
In fact, I think a couple of the ladies that are wanting to come on the tour messaged me the other day, and they were saying that how they actually wanted to stay on a bit extra days, so
Yeah.
they wanted to do like a bit of shopping and a bit of spa. So I know great shopping in Pakistan,
Exactly. I was just
in
going to say there's a
Karachi.
lot of good shopping, and this is something again I didn't know. Like it's like South Pakistan is tropical and beaches, and so you can hang out there as well. And it's worth if you're going that way, I guess. You can hang out for another week. Get some more
Yeah,
accommodation, and yeah, if you do it after, you'll already know people. No doubt there'll be other people hanging around, and you can do a bit of exploring. But we'll definitely show you all the cool old
we
sites,
will.
take you
There's
around.
also just by where we'll be staying in Karachi, there's obviously it's on the beach. So there's a friend of mine he's also a geologist and a environmentalist, and he runs it's a NGO run and the government actually fund and help is called the Clifton Urban Forest. And they've created this natural reserve and where they've actually got pelicans and some really amazing sort of wildlife that's in there. And he's got these just really cool stuff. Like he's got this they've created these storm proof little huts. They're all completely sustainable
Oh,
and they're
cool.
using the ancient traditions of how these were built and the roofs and everything, that everything is storm proof. So it's really cool. So he's made a few of them so to showcase people, and a lot of foreigners, a lot of different NGOs do come there. So there's lots of extra bits that are not on the itinerary that I think you guys will enjoy if you're planning to stay a bit longer. Because I know Campbell and I are going to be staying a bit longer, hopefully. So
Definitely.
yeah,
Yeah. Not just going for 2 weeks. So yeah,
yeah.
check it out, guys. And like we said, bookings are happening, so don't miss out. And it's in January. So yes, if you want to go, get on the website, check it out, and get in contact, and we'll get you sorted. That's going to be
Yeah, and I
awesome.
think it's important for people to know the reason why we've chosen those dates is because this particular part of Pakistan, there's a very small window for you to actually travel to it because of the heat.
Yeah, yeah,
So
we were discussing the dates, but we can't, yeah, move them at the moment just because, yeah, basically it's because the tour companies don't work, right? It's too
yeah,
hot
they
for
won't
them. They
work.
shut down.
They
So
won't.
yeah, and then we're going to be doing more next year as well. Definitely back to
Yeah.
Pakistan and Crete and a few other
So this
places.
during the summer, we should hopefully do the Hunza Valley and the up north
Mm,
because that's the proper. I mean, it's just stunning, guys. It's like the Himalayas, for God's sake. It's like the
Himalayas.
largest mountains that you'll see, and that is known as the land of the giants. So when you come in there, they've
Mm,
got this big gate, and it's called Desoy, Desoai, land of the giants. Literally
right.
written there when you get there. So it's really cool. So we're going to go and do that in the summer, and then Crete, obviously, we know is happening. So that can be, I think that's going to be around sort of September-ish, maybe
Next year, yeah,
sort of next year.
26. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is all going to be happening 2026, 2027. Let's get it all in there before they stop us doing anything.
Well, they're going to try, but we're going to keep traveling. And just remember, guys, all the stuff that, all the stuff on the 2D world that the mainstream put out, it's all a show. Don't believe it. Follow your own gut, your own heart, and turn all this information into wisdom, right? Get out there and see it and interact, and that's how you turn information into wisdom. So get involved, get out there. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to be there. Afi's going to be there, and we want to see you there.
All right, guys. Well, have a good rest of the what is
week.
it? It's Monday evening
It's
for you guys?
Monday. Yep, Monday here. Yep.
Monday morning for you, isn't it?
No, it's
No, hang
Monday,
on. Monday evening.
Monday evening. Yep.
Yes, Monday
Oh,
evening.
and it's
Have a good
dropped
rest of
three
the evening.
degrees, so it's 8 o'clock here, and we've dropped to 30 at
Well,
8
you've
p.m. at
dropped
night.
3 degrees since we started speaking. Because that's
So,
the first thing you said. You were like, it's 33
oh
degrees
my
here and
God,
it's 6 o'clock in the
been
evening
very hot here, but
and
that's
I'm
good.
freezing.
It's
So I need to like
acclimatizing me
kind of,
to the Pakistan weather, you see. I'm going to be fine. You're going to come like as an
oh, it's
icicle
so cold here right
and you're going to
now.
melt.
So we
But
will.
yes.
All right, guys, I gotta
All
go
right.
make a cup of tea.
All right. All links below, guys. Check them out. Let us know if you've got any questions, and we will see you there. All right.
Yeah,
Stay
and I
awesome.
also I wanted to say just before I say the final goodbye, please do join the Gnosis group on Facebook because I run that and I'll be putting a lot of information in there. Campbell's part of that group as well. It's just a open truth for all truthers. It's not
Mm.
affiliated to any one person.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah.
called Gnosis with a K. And there's information there. You can reach out to me in there as well. There's some really cool people that you can meet as well in there.
All
So
right. Well, we'll leave the link for that below as well. Come and have a
cool.
chat.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah. All right. We'll talk to you all soon, guys. Stay awesome.
Bye.
See ya.